Shalom. Our Torah portion this week is Yitro. Yitro is found in the book of Exodus, and in Yitro we find the first of two versions of the Ten Commandments, the second version being found in the book of Deuteronomy in Sedra ve'et Hanan. What I want to discuss with you today is one of the commandments in particular, the one that prohibits us from worshiping idols. Let's take a look at it as we turn to chapter 20, verse 4 in the book of Exodus.
Lo ta'aseh lecha fesel kechol temuna asher b'shamayim mima'al, va'asher ba'aretz mitachet va'asher b'mayim mitachet la'aretz. Lo tishtachaveh lehem, lo ta'avdem. You shall not make for yourself a sculptured image, or any likeness of what is in the heavens above, or on the earth below, or in the waters under the earth. You shall not bow down to them or serve them.
What we have just read is a very great commandment. The commandment forbidding what we call in Hebrew avodah zarah, or if you put a more of a Yiddish inflection on it, avodah zarah. We're told that we are not to worship anything in nature, anything that's made out of stone or wood, for example, would be just incomprehensible to the Torah. Now, a thought that crosses my mind when I read this commandment is, what relevance does this commandment have to us today in our world? I don't know of anyone who worships idols made out of stone or wood, for example. And yet people do make idols out of things. People make idols out of money, we're told. People sometimes worship themselves, their own egos, their own desires, their own wants, and etc. People make idols out of power. They make an idol out of the control of other people. But there is a much deeper kind of avodah zarah, of idolatry, that Maimonides, the great Jewish philosopher, spoke of 800 years ago. He wrote extensively on idolatry, and he said there's a kind of an idolatry in the mind. He said that sometimes our thoughts can become idolatrous. He said sometimes people get a notion in their mind of what God is. They do this through their religion, through their theology, through their ideology or whatever. And what they do, they say, this is God, and I understand God, and this is the only concept that there can exist about God. My idea and no one else's. Well, we know that that kind of thinking leads a person down a very slippery slope. It actually leads a person away from understanding what God is. God is all of the possibilities in the universe. God is the foundation of all life in the universe. And when you say God is this and only this, and my understanding of God is the only understanding of God, you have limited God. And that can make you into a very bigoted, a very closed-minded individual. And I think that may be a problem in our world today, when people make their religious theology into an idol. Abraham Joshua Heschel, one of the great rabbis of all times, had this definition of idolatry. He said idolatry is any God who is mine and not yours, any God concerned with me and not with you. That is idolatry. Well, I hope that you will read this week's Torah portion and come to your own conclusions. Shabbat Shalom.